when really a coach has lost 7 games. If you lose 7 games, I'm not with you. Even if it is me. 7 games, I do what? I resign.
Yes.
Yeah, because you must know there's something.
Rwanda, we're still lacking. We are still have a third of Africa Cup of Nations, for example. But Uganda, you were there in 2022, if I'm not
around
mistaken.
there, yeah.
Yes.
But I think Rwanda also went to African Cup of Nations.
In 2004.
Yeah, but you see, even Uganda took for some time after 45 years. Football today is a business also. It's a job. It is no longer now a hobby. Football today is a job. If you born a boy like you, a boy like me, then I have given birth to money. Coach Simba for 2 and 6 months, years. But most of them will go there.
Sure.
They are sacked. They are sacked 2 years. I mean, in 1 month, 1 year.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. You know, I went there and they loved me so much, and I love Simba also. It's a good team.
So we are honored. We are honored to be with the legend of Uganda Cranes and the head coach of Sunrise, the Eastern-based football club. Coach Jackson, let us talk about your contract extension. Last time you signed a new contract with Sunrise. What's the secret behind of this? Just to take a decision, just to extend the contract with this team after 4 months before season ends?
Yeah, it's normally for managers who think it's a project. You know, when I was talking to the people here, I'm a project manager.
Sure.
So I'm a projected coach. I think when they told me this is a project, you can't work with a project in 6 months. You can't work with a team which is you think you want to make a project for 1 year, as a 1 year. So I think when they told me they wanted to extend the contract, I said, let's go on. And as a manager, you never know what happens. You can sign here, and then maybe you think you have an offer somewhere, and then it doesn't work out. But I think sometimes you need to put your mind somewhere, and then you think about it. If you get a bigger offer, then you can always make discussions with those people. But I think I saw the people I'm working with, the management, in terms of football, they understand it, and they think they are giving freedom to the manager to do exactly what he thinks for the good of the team, so that you don't have any excuses of saying, these people are interfering in my job. And I saw these mayors of Gasibo and the mayor of here, of Nyagatare, they love football, they have the passion of the game.
Sure.
So I think, and this is a district team, I think they have the passion like their boss in the political arena up there, the president. So I thought it is very good to be working with people who really can be behind you. Yes, and since they told me it's a project, so I thought, okay, if it's a project, then I have to make an extension.
So another question, Coach. It's not your first time here in Rwanda, and you played as a professional and a professional player. After professional player, you came to the coaching. You know the football of Rwanda and Uganda. When you see in these days there are some players of Uganda who are now coming to play in Rwanda, what does it mean, Coach?
But I think it's not the first time.
Yeah, it's not a first time.
Yeah, some players played in APR, like the Odochis, the Taburas. Very many players have been playing in Uganda many years, a couple of years.
In Rail Sports.
In Rail Sport. Even now, there are some players also of Rail Sport from Uganda. I think it's something healthy. Sure. It is healthy, so long as they are good and better than you. Because I believe in a professional football player who is better than a Rwandese, who is better than a local player. So that is another issue. Being professionals from Uganda, from Kenya, from anywhere, or England, then those professional footballers, the difference, if we really want to improve the football in Rwanda here, to be sincere, not be selfish, we have to bring professional footballers who are better than the local players, so that the local players can learn from those professionals. It's the most important, not just to come and play. Yeah.
How can you compare the football of Uganda and football of Rwanda?
Yeah.
Because now Rwanda we're still lacking. We are still have a third of Africa Cup of Nations, for example. But Uganda, you were there in 2022, if I'm not
Around
mistaken.
there, yeah.
Yes.
But I think Rwanda also went to African Cup of
In
Nations.
2004.
Yeah, but you see, even Uganda took for some time after 45 years. They are not in the Nations Cup. So going to the Nations Cup is something not easy. You can start today. It's something you develop. Like I told you, you must develop this. You must work on this. These Senegalese teams you see, the Ghanaian teams you see, these people don't just go from bed and say we are going for African Cup of Nations. They have built that. I want to show you something that when I was in Egypt with the under-20 national team of Uganda, that Senegalese team, I saw some of these players now in AFCON just recently. Yes, the under-20. Most of these players, I saw them sitting on the bench there. Now trying to learn.
them in Egypt during the
Yes, with the under-20 of Uganda Cranes.
Yes, I remember.
You know, so it's not less. It's less than I think a year. But just last year, is it in October or in June, something? So I'm trying to show you that things don't just happen today. These things you must build it. Like I've told you, a project. Even Sunrise, to become one of the best clubs, and they start calling this stadium Gorogota, as they say. Gorogota, I don't know it in Rwanda, what it means, but what they told me, the brief, that it's a place where it's a slaughtering what? A slaughtering, what is a slaughter what? Nobody should come here and live in peace. Yeah, So to have that, it must be developed. You must put it for 2, 3, 4 years with people who really understand this. Other than every day, you change this coach, you change this coach. If you get professional football coaches like us, then you have to stick sometimes on them and they build for you something. You see these European people, they don't just sack coaches. You look at Manchester. Ten Hag is there.
Still there.
He's there.
Fan of Manchester United.
Yeah, but everybody says he should leave. But those people, because they are used, even Ferguson, when he arrived there, they almost sacked him. But he stayed there with him because he was telling them, I am handling a project for Manchester United. Like I see, I want also to handle this project. You understand? This is a project whereby it has the stadium, it has the facility. Only things which are supposed to be inside to work on that project are the ones now they need to improve on. You understand?
Sure.
Yeah, they only need to improve on those things which are supposed to be in that project. But the infrastructure is there. The stadium is there. They have dressing rooms there. The stadium is there where you can play, where a coach can really do whatever he wants with a young player, with an old experienced player, with a senior player. So it is just, I think, Uganda and Rwanda. The football is not so very far, but the way people are doing things is the difference now.
The difference.
Yes.
Coach, let us back on this. We are now playing on 20th day of National League. But more than 7 coaches have been already sacked from National League before the season ends. Are you agree with that?
I don't agree with such things. That's what I told you. Sacking a coach might not be a solution. If you have a coach, sometimes a manager, you have a manager. A manager is somebody who says also he can always sack his personal technical staff.
Sure.
That shows that there was something lacking there.
Yes, sure.
But not the management to sack a coach. If you see a manager sacking his personal technical staff, some of them, and says this one, no, this one, but he brings in the technocrats, then you must know something is moving up. But I don't believe in coaches to be sacked unless when really a coach has lost 7 games. If you lose 7 games, I'm not with you. Even if it is me. 7 games, I do what? I resign.
Leave, yes.
Yeah, because you must know there's something. There must be a problem with your team. there must be a problem. Either the players are not good, but when you have got 7 games, you have a window closer, coming closer there. So you only need to change and see what we do. Always when you lose games, losing 5, I saw that Gorilla sacked their coach after 5 games. Those are very little games. It depends what do you have at stock at the club. Which kind of level of players do you have? Did you buy for these players? If he started, for example, me, I'm here at Sunrise. I found the same players. I have not added more players here. Only the young boys I found here in under 20 and maybe 1 player. You understand? And then tomorrow you tell me I've lost 5 games, you sack me. I don't lose anything because I didn't recruit these players. I found these players here. But if a coach recruited the players, he went for pre-season and he loses 7 games, I think, in a row. And depending which type of teams he's losing. Because if you lose against APR, you lose against Rayo, you lose against Kiovu, you lose against Police, I think those are big teams. Sometimes the level of players and football understanding and football brains change into players. Yeah, because the football brains of football players in APR, sometimes they bring in good players who are really different from other players. We cannot be all the same, even coaches. But for players also, they cannot always be the same. So you might find even a player in Sunrise is have a very good football brain. They're better than a player from Police or from SC Kigali or from big teams. But again, he's in his Sunrise. So that's why these big teams, they go down and pick such players and take them up so that they finish the whole nice product in the lower teams and they win it. But I think it's not good for soccer coach just like that because he has lost 3 games, 4 games. Football is a continuation thing. Because they have to be consistent. If the players are not consistent, then there must be a problem.
How is the life in Nyagatale for months after signing for Sunrise? How are you in general? How is your team? How is life in Nyagatale?
First of all, I'm pleasured and I'm humbled to be in Rwanda, associating with the people in Rwanda who are very social people, nice people, understanding people, in a country whereby people respect people and respect they're very disciplined. In a country people respect many things. And I'm really humbled to see that I'm associating with a club like Sunrise. It's one of the, I think, a good club I've seen here. I worked with some clubs also, but it's one of the good clubs. But just because it was really not doing well, but I think the management of this club is a wonderful management. They are really doing a great job to the players. So we only need as we technical people to come up and professionalize the club.
So, Coach, we are here just talk about your success. You took the Sunrise where there was on 16th, I think, ranked 16th. Just in the relegation zone, but now the Sunrise is now giving the promise to be among the best teams this season. What's the secret behind it? Because it wasn't your first time here in Rwanda. I think it's your second time. Your first time was not good, I think, where you were assisted your motherhood brother. But now you left with the failure, but now you came with a success. What's really behind your success now, Coach?
Thank you for reminding me about what happened in SC Kigali. But I think I'd never worked with somebody, a local coach, as an assistant. But because Mike Ray Mutebi and Jackson Mayanja were on the levels of managers. So that's why I came to work with Mike Mutebi as a manager, because I'm also on a level of a manager. So Mike Mutebi is a manager and I'm on the same level. So that's why I came to work with him. But unfortunately, things didn't work out at SC Kigali because I think he didn't like what the players were, the players were, the way they were behaving, the way they were doing things. So I tried to advise him, but then that is what he thought as a manager. Always managers we think of differently. And I had to we had to go with him. Although AC Kigali wanted me to stay around and then work with it, but as a professional football coach, I was supposed to be with his personality, to live with him because we came together.
Sure.
But all in all, that was AC Kigali, and I always think of that club is also another good club. They had good players, almost national players. Most of these guys, I really liked them, associating with them. And back to Nyagatare. Nyagatare is a good town, as you think. It's very clean. I think the mayor is doing a wonderful job for this town. And then again, the district also at the same time loving the football, giving back to the community. This club is a community club. And again, I will take also this opportunity to thank again the President of the Republic. That when I was in Kigali, I thought these stadiums are only there. But the time I've been here, I've been seeing that every time we are going in any district, there is a stadium like this. So Mr. Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic, may really God make you live longer for this country, because he has really done a very big. This time I'm talking in terms of football, because sports. Me, I'm a sports football, and sports is my life. So this is congs to the president, and also the president does this. Also, we cannot forget also Ferwafa. Ferwafa already normally put in the proposals for these things to happen. So you find a team like Sunrise, he's in a eastern part of the country, but it has a stadium like this one, which is fantastic. So I have seen here most players, most fans here come here to play around football. The young players come to play football here. So I think Sunrise has a very, very big chance. This is a very big project if it is really handled very well.
Sure. Let us now talk about your success. You came with where the Sunrise was on 16th ranking.
Yeah. But you see, there was a lot of things which are not professional things in terms of the playing staff. But according to the management, for them, they were doing their job, because they were always, the team is 16th, but they were paying the money for the salaries. So the only problem was that the players, the professionalism was not there. So I changed the professionalism, and I'm still trying to professionalize the club. Also the technical staff also, although I didn't come with many people, I just came with one person. So the rest I found around, we need to professionalize them also. Although there are some things, when you work with a manager of this kind of my caliber, sometimes I don't entertain in discipline, I don't entertain things, You have to let sometimes things go. If you see working with the staff, but they're not professionals, has to always change things. So this club, the players, in terms of the professionalism, was not really there. So, and even the playing style was not really there. The players didn't know what they are really playing. They were coming around here, and 11 versus 11, they play. And I think the professional. I also thank the coaches who were here. They did a good job, although the team was number 16. But they did their job. They did their job to keep the team around where I found it. So because if they were not there, also I didn't want to have found this team. So Hassan did a good job, and the other first coach did a good job to keep the team around. But of course, there are things. Everybody has his style of play, his style of handling the club, his style of professionalizing football, what he thinks. Because I've been a professional football player before. I'm now a professional football coach. I've been in professional clubs. I know what a professional club can be, and what a professional football player can be. Just look at one of the biggest clubs here in Rwanda, APR. They have got many good things around them, but I think it's one of the champions of this country. The only thing that which really also makes me sometimes is that I want to see this big club putting in a lot of this money. Go to the Champions League group stages. I love to see APR do this, because these guys are really putting in a lot of money to make sure the players are looking very good. The team is looking very good. So that's they deserve. Because they are champions and champions, and I think even this year they are going to be champions.
Yeah.
This is a champion club. APR is a champion club. Yes. If the way I look at things,
Yes.
this is a champion club. APR is a champion club. So they are also going to be champions also this year. I hope. May have been here even last year when I, like 2-3 years back, I was not here. I was here with the Kigali. I saw them becoming champions.
Sure.
So even this time, but now they need to go to that group stages. Sure. I love to see this club go there.
Sure.
The way they are really putting in the money, they love the players, the efforts the management is doing. I think there's something small lacking there. One time you want, one day you never know. Maybe.
Yeah, Coach. Last time we talked about just to use younger players. Just it was like an advice just to the club, just to use young players. And you say that we are still relying on old players. Why not those young players? What were you exactly want to mean?
No, I was not talking about that old players are not bad, are not good. They are good. The old players are good. The young players are good. You have to have a mix.
Sure.
Of a mix of young and old players. Because everything, we are getting older. Today you are a young journalist. I see you are a very young man.
Yeah.
I was young as a football player. Now I'm old. I can no longer play football. Yeah. If those coaches never trusted me, how will I have become a star? How will I have become the Jackson Mayanja Mia, the way they call me? You know, how would I have been that? So that's why I was saying the coaches must also look into the young players. That Rwanda, what I saw in Rwanda, they have a talent, I tell you. There is talent in Rwanda. Big talent in Rwanda. But it is untapped. I am telling you. I've seen Uganda. Even I used to have an academy there trying to uplift young ones in my hometown, in my home village. And I put a Mia Soccer Academy there. For the boys to, always when I don't have, I'm not in job, I always go there, try to teach these young men. So, Rwanda has talent. Look at this boy called Eric. He's such a fantastic football player in the future for Rwanda. Sure. Look at Mahrez. They call him Mahrez. He's called Shema. He's one of the players I think I'm trying to see if we can take him out of the country. But this is good for Rwanda. I'm not doing this. I would have done this in Uganda. But Rwanda has very big talent, I'm telling you. Rwandese are special talent.
But the problem is to detect
tapping them and helping them.
Sure.
And helping them. We should not always base on winning. We need also to make sure in a team, at least to have 2 to 3 young players. 2 to 3. I don't mean the old. The old is that there are no old football players in the clubs. Old are always in the village. But experience, we talk about experience. Experienced players should be in the team.
Sure.
Yes, we need them. But again, we need to make sure Rwanda as a country. Because these stadiums, you won't build them when you really don't qualify to go to the African Cup of Nations. You don't. You'd build these stadiums to tap the talent. You have this. You have it in Marine. I saw in Marine. Where is that?
Marine.
Ngoma district. You have in Bugesera.
Yes.
I've moved this money where they are there. Rubavu. Yes. So what do you want? Why are these stadiums there? This is the way to tap the young ones. And this is a project whereby it must now turn into a project. Like Sunrise. I have always come here and watched and sat here in this stadium. We're sitting here. My brother, I've seen young boys playing on this pitch, not the Sunrise football players, but the young boys who come here with their parents and some young boys who come here to play football. You look at the way they control the ball, they pass the ball, but only they need to improve the energy, the speed, those things which can produce a player to produce. Yes. So they are not finished products. They need to be taken to become finished products so that Rwanda, in under 17, in under 20, they must be the best. They might be building now for another 5 to 6 years, the under 20, under 21, or under 18. They build them. They take it for themselves and they say, we are tapping this talent. They will do it with the right people. for tapping that talent
Yes.
with the right people. That is very important.
Just going to ask you, what are we needing?
We need the right people who love even these kids. Like me, you see me, I'm here.
Yes.
The first time I came here, I said I want to give Eric. And everybody said, no, Eric is under 70.
He's still young, eh?
They're still young, they will break him. They said, no.
Yes.
Because I know what it means and what does he do. But now, you see, it's just unfortunate that again, as a PR, I didn't do the best I wanted. But all these games I was playing has really helped the club so much.
Sure.
Yeah, he has helped the club so much. You look at Maires. It's called Maires. I heard his Maires, but I think because but you see, so even him, I like the way he's doing his things, because when they call you Mahrez, you must also try to produce the glimpses of Mahrez of Algeria. So I think he's a talent to watch if he doesn't get spoiled. But that's the future players of Rwanda. I've always told these players that you have a player here called Aruna Niyonzima. Aruna Niyonzima has been here for a couple of years. He's playing. Even up to now, he's still a professional football player. Why? The talent. He had the talent. And it was tapped in that early days. Because Aruna Niyonzima, I don't think people say he's old. He's not old if he can become still a professional football player. All the people stay in the village. But when you can still play and do what
you are
coach,
not all the people
yes, at least you can even always play 40 to 50 minutes. You can always play 50 minutes, 70 minutes, but you are in the game. Although we need again the young ones again to come and look at in Uganda we saw okukuyigirako. I don't know in English, to learn from you. So we need these young boys to mix them with experience, people like those to learn from them, because you don't need only young players only, but the young ones need also to be involved, so that you have senior players who are really talented too, who can really do good things, so that you don't only need to buy players from out of this country, because you buying players out of this country is not bad. It depends on the club what it wants. That is the club is what, but we must look so much in these Rwandese players. They are very talented Rwandese players. I love them. I think because even in AC Kigali we had those boys, and I saw those boys were talented. I saw a PR last time when we were playing. I saw some young boys also. Good young boys. They need to get a very good academy with the right people. People think that becoming an academy, to become a coach of academy, you don't need to take people like the Jackson Mayanjas. No, those are the right people who understand. So long as you pay him good money to tap that talent. These senior coaches, they don't need to only be the people we think we only need to be in the Premier League. No, but if a club like APR gets a senior coach who understands the children and who understands the football, it is going to be one of the biggest clubs and to produce players, because it has what it takes to look after footballers. It has the effort. They love football at large. So why don't they produce many good players in the country? So you could find that academy. It's the one now helping under 17 of the national team. You find that academy under 20 produces them, and then plus the other players. So I think we as coaches, we should not also look only in the Premier League, but those clubs which are to develop football or to tap the talent, they should get some senior coaches to go and really tap that talent.
So now, coach, one of my last questions now. Rwanda Premier League is among of the best league in Africa that has a lot of money, for example. But to qualify to the group stages, for example, of CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup, it's still hard for us. What's wrong?
I think it's technical. It's technical. Because, just an example, I just gave you. Police has a lot of money. APR has a lot of money. Why don't they do that? It's technical.
What I'm asking.
I'm telling you, it's technical. It's technical. Yes, because If you have a lot of money,
shortcut.
there's no shortcut. I want to be open. If you have a lot of money, buy the best product to take you to that what?
That level you want
to that
be.
level you want to be. Don't make this and this, because the money is at, the budget is there. If you have a good budget, those clubs you see, Esperance, what, they make sure they buy real players to take them to the group stages. They don't buy players of theirs to come and joke around because he's a good player, he's from Nigeria, from Ghana,
Sure.
but it doesn't measure that continental football status. It cannot take you to that continent. It doesn't mean that all best players you buy can take you to the continent. But the way you handle them, you can buy them, but also the person who is handling them and the way you model the team.
Even their quality.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you about the quality. That's why I'm saying if any professional footballer should be bought, I always told the Ugandan people, if you buy any professional football player, then you must take a better player. A better player who you can put in a team. Even if you have 3, they are like 5 in a team. In the first 11, if they are 3, they are like 5. So they play like 5 players, but they are 3 professionals.
Sure.
So the income they put in, the input they put in the team, if they are 3, it's like 5 players. It's like for 5 players. So it's very, very, very important.
Sure.
For these Rwandese clubs, which I see, they love football. The Rwandese clubs love football, really.
Sure.
Because I have not seen a club here who doesn't have a professional football player.
No.
So they need to pick the right players to make sure those right players can also learn, the young ones can learn from those players. That's how the football is going to be developed so much. Mm-hmm. Of course, APR has got players, and I think, as I told you, I want to see them in the group stages. They deserve that.
But they failed.
No, this is life. They must try again and get the right people.
Okay.
Yes, but I think I like them because they have really put in a lot. Since I heard about APR, they are putting in good money for the players, good welfare, for the players. And I was in Simba as a coach. I handled Simba as a coach. I know what was there. And when I went to Simba, there was a lot of indiscipline of high class from the players, senior players. They think we are big people. I fired them. I have fired about 4 players, senior players, plus the captain.
Hey.
And because the officials were fearing those players, they said, now you see, how are we going to chase those players? But me, I caught into their hands. And I said, no, captain, off, suspension, you off. And that was the beginning of Simba.
Sure.
And the Simba people knew, this man, a black man, has come here and sacked these players. But there is no white player, my white coach, who has ever done that in Simba. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm the only long-serving coach in Simba, because I coached Simba for 2 and 6 months years. But most of them will go there.
Sure.
They are sacked. They are sacked in 2 years. I mean, in 1 month, 1 year.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Me, I went there and they loved me so much, and I love Simba also. It's a good team. And now I brought in some players of mine there. Chabalala. You see that Chabalala? He's my player. Mozamiru Yassin is my player. So I have products there for put there, and I recruited them for Simba. And they are the ones, the local players. And they're the ones you see now. The best players, I've seen them. I was happy to see Chabalala in AFCON. Sure. Trying to perform so well. Yassine Mozamiru is still in Simba. Those are the players I tried to bring up. And people never expected that.
Yes.
Even in Rwanda here, one time I had Kodo. I brought Kodo here. Kodo, you remember the captain of Piara, the captain of... yes, but he was a young boy. Nobody knew about him. And I told him one day, I want you to play. When I was at Kyovu, a stint at Kyovu Small, when I just started coaching, I spent a stint at Kyovu. But I brought those boys. The watch who is here now, he also went to APR. Kodo, I brought this boy and he went to the national team. So just recently when I was at Kigali, I saw the likes of Kalisa. Is it Kalisa Rashidi? He's a fantastic football player. There's some couple of good players around in Rwanda, I think. They have the talent.
Yeah, sure.
You have really good talent. People used to talk about this Karekes. Karekes was a fantastic player. But again, you have other Karekes here. They're here. But the problem is the tapping. You have more courageous I've seen. More courageous are here. But that tapping of those boys.
Yes. So, Coach, my last question, there's something outside here. They used to say that the management of some teams here in Rwanda, they used to come to tell what coaches have to do just to it's controversially. Do you agree with them? The situation you are working in.
I really don't know. I don't want to talk about something I don't know. But I think the one I know here in Sunrise, the management is giving me a lot of time and is giving me my freedom to do exactly what the manager does to the club, because the manager is always the owner of the club, not the owner in terms of finance, but the owner in terms of technical things. So if I will be very bad to talk about other clubs I have not worked for, and I have seen management doing that. So it's very unfortunate and I will be not very sincere. But
do you agree with them? Situation you are working in.
I really don't know. I don't want to talk about something I don't know. But I think the one I know here in Sunrise, the management is giving me a lot of time and is giving me my freedom to do exactly what the manager does to the club, because the manager is always the owner of the club, not the owner in terms of finance, but the owner in terms of technical things. So if I will be very bad to talk about other clubs I have not worked for, and I have seen management doing that. So it's very unfortunate and I will be not very sincere. But the team I'm working for here, I think I've not seen any interference. Mm-hmm. The team I worked for, AS Kigali, with Mike Ray Mutebi, there was no interference. So I think I don't know where it comes from.
Yes.
But I think if it is there, it's very bad. But what I know, they will interfere to a manager also who is weak, to a coach who is weak. Because if you are weak, they will interfere. Of course, football you cannot build and win alone. But there are things you must also try to say, yes, this manager has come, or the president has come and asked, yes, we talk. Because there are no more talks for presidents and managers, more talk, chairman with coaches, maybe manager, the manager of management.
Yes.
The coordinators, they are called now coordinator of the clubs. Here, let me talk about mine here. Such people can always come and say, advise somehow. You don't need to ignore, but you're the last man to make a final decision, yes. So you don't say that they are interfering you. Some coaches, that's where they come from. When he loses the job, he starts saying, because the managers are interfering me, the president. That is not the thing. You see, like now, a man like this man of Gasogi. Who? The president of Gasogi. He's a funny guy, but I like him. You know why? This guy is passionate.
Sure.
He's a football passionate person. Now, if you work with such a person, and he comes and tells you, "Hey, my coach, don't you think this guy could be better?" And you say, "He interfered?" No, he didn't interfere, but he's trying to bring an argument because it's part of the project.
Sure.
It's part of the success. Sure. He wants to be part of the success. And I have never seen a team manager or a general secretary, SG, or a president who comes and gives his manager wrong information to lose the game. No. So we coaches, we must be flexible.
Sure.
Sometimes you need to be flexible and listen and say, okay, and then you change your mind. But when you see it doesn't help the way you want the team to play, you leave it. But when somebody comes, unless when he comes and forces you that, please do that, and I've never seen that in football management. I have never had any football manager, team manager, or football SCG saying, coach, you play that one, or president. I don't think it can always happen. But anyway, that what I know that as coaches and professional managers, you must always be flexible and listen, and you make your final decision. Yep.
So my last question now, coach, in your area fixtures, you have a Rayo Sports side. How do you think about this game?
This is a big game. Yeah, it's a big game, and I think we need to think ahead. We think to think so high. Is why Rayon Sports is one of the historical clubs in Rwanda. You have to respect it, and then. But in terms of playing, we don't need a lot of respect. So they have to prove that they are really one of the best clubs in Rwanda. but I think it's a historical club like APR, like Rayon Sport, like Kiyovu. I think those are the 3 clubs here. We know, we have always heard about Kiyovu, Rayon Sport, and Aperi. So wherever you play such teams, you really have to respect them. But again, on the pitch, they have to prove that. That is all.
So let me take this time for sure, Coach, to thank you for your time. Thank you so much, Coach Jackson.
Thank you very much, and I'm also privileged and humbled to be part of the
KT Radio
and
KT Place, Kigali Today,
and I really I also take this opportunity to thank the fans of Sunrise, the management of Sunrise. They are very good people. They are really workable with, and the mayors of these districts, the Gasibo and Nyagatare, fantastic guys. They are really football passionate, like the guy I told you for Gasogi, the president, and the others are presidents of the Rio Republic of the president. I think they copied the president of the republic.
Yes,
I've always admired this guy because he was sometime maybe years back before he came here, where football was so passionate in Uganda. I think one time he stayed also there. You never know. That's where he got the passionate of football in Uganda. Okay. But he came with it here, which is fantastic. And I really applaud that president of the of the Republic once again. That really thank you for loving Rwandan football players, Rwandan youth. In fact, that one goes to the youth, because the youth
call
if
him
they
friend of youth.
Yes, he loves the youth. That's why I'm telling you that if somebody builds a stadium like this, it's creating jobs in one way or the other. How? In terms of playing football, because football today is a business also. It's a job. It is no longer now a hobby. Football today is a job. If you born a boy like you, a boy like me, then I have given birth to money, to a person who will help the country, who will help my family, and that is it. Unless when you don't love football. So I think it's a joy to see this, and I'm told some big arenas he has put up, like Amahoro, where I used to play.
Yeah.
I would love really one time.
I wish to see
really one time to have that memory, and I will I really want to see that pitch, because I played in Mahoro so many years back. It was built but not refurbished like the way it's refurbished. So I would love to go there and have that memory. Sure. And see, and really again thank him once again. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Ferwafa at large. But and also thank me the fans who also nominated me to become one of the coach of the month. Although I didn't get it, but I think next time I might get it. Yes, but I also advise people who pick such things that they should not look so much at big teams, managers and so on, because these are because like APR is a champion, and they're always champion, and they're going to be champion this year. So I think that is it. So they will always look at also these small teams with managers.
But this time was your turn, of course.
Yeah, because I deserved it, and I think I'm very happy that I must. They might not give it to me, but I know I deserve it. Even in December, I thought December was be mine, and then January, but I think they didn't give it to me. I don't know why, but I think I deserved it. But I really was happy that they gave it to my colleague for police, Bashami. Bashami won. Bashami, yes. Bashami won for the December, I think.
Yes.
I'm glad for him because he's my colleague. Sure. He is a good friend of mine, and I like him. And this January, I thought I'll go take it, but I think they should look into that. They should not look only on these teams in the city.
In the city.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.